All right, and it's 8 a.m. and good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our PD at home. Mike and I were talking a little earlier. It's such an interesting time, despite all of the stress and the complications of being home and trying to instruct from home. Tech companies have been weirdly generous with all of their products, so it's a good time to try things out that we ordinarily wouldn't try. So we've definitely been encouraging people to try stuff. JamBoard has been available to us all along. It's free. It's part of the Google Suite. I first started demoing it in the fall when I did a workshop on using Google Drawings for instruction. And since then, we've been tinkering and playing around and watching for resources for how to use it best. Google, as per course, is improving it as each update comes out. It's better and better. So JamBoard is an app. It's part of the GSuite. They actually sell a hardware product called a JamBoard, which is like a smart board, which is what the software was intended for originally. But it really is just a very simple whiteboard software that you can use in instruction, and you could also have kids use to create all kinds of learning. So I thought, what the heck, let's see what we can do with it. Talk about some of the positives and negatives and just get people to know about it because it's already in your apps grid. Okay, so let's see. You see my first slide, okay? All right, so here's the Jamboard. If I go to page 2, it's a little hard to see. Let's see. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. So it's very simple. If you opened up the Jamboard yourself, which you should find the link in the chat, you'll see there are tools. There are pens of different shapes and sizes and only 5 color palette. There's an eraser tool, a pointer, a sticky note, an insert images, which is super useful, and then this laser pointer. I'm trying to remember where I am. Okay, so and the laser pointer is really great for when you're trying to show what you're doing. I'm going to make it smaller one more second. So I actually have my tools are on the left. So here's my laser pointer. So here's the different tool palette that we can use. And then you can add as many pages as you want. I think this jam is 16 pages. The ones I use with kids are generally 1. And then there's tools in this 3 little dots that you can pull down. There's rename, download as PDF, save frame as image. So if you want to capture kids' work while they're working, remove, make a copy. So lots of different tools in Jamboard. Okay, so now I want you to go to the live Jamboard and use a tool. Can you guys get to the live one in the other tab? We should see it appear live. You guys should all simultaneously be able to use the pens.
Yes, I'm using it, so it's working.
Aha. Right, and you can see one of the pitfalls of doing this with kids who don't have tablets is like writing is difficult. I'm trying to get the district to download the JamBoard app onto the Chromebooks because there are tools in the app that aren't on this web-based version, so that when the kids write like this, it translates it into typed text. All right, so lots of markers, lots of colors. Kids can write, kids can add pictures, kids can draw. There's no shape insert yet, which I thought was very surprising. But again, they're improving it as much as possible. Maybe try a sticky note. Go ahead and insert a sticky note. Does anybody want to try the sticky note feature?
Good morning, Shannon. I'm sorry, it's Jen Sansusi. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you just clarify where that link is that you're talking about to play on the live board?
It should be in the chat. of the Meet, the Google Meet. It should be in the Google Meet chat.
In the chat.
Yeah, Shannon, it's Sue Winslow joining late. I don't see anything in the chat.
Yeah, I think if you join late, anything earlier maybe isn't accessible.
Gotcha. I'll put it right back in again.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Of course. That's the fun. Have to have the live jam. How about now? Did you get it?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Oh, somebody erased their cute little Post-it note. Okay, so you can see it's simple. It can be fun. It has some potential. I'm going to move on to the next jam slide. I'm not sure I have language for that, right? But so how do we use this with kids? People say, well, what do I use this for? I can't imagine what I would do with this. Well, I know that some math teachers are already using it for math instruction. So you can insert from the add image different math things. Okay, I am a librarian. I'm not a math person. But you could put a math background on or a math graphing background on, and then the kids can use the tools to draw or plot. That's a math term, right? They can plot their numbers. I made this equation, which has nothing to do with the picture on the right, using Equadio. So when you use this tool, there are some other tools that are helpful, and I list them all at the end, but there's an Equadio tool where you can get equations written, so you don't have to try to draw them with your pen. You can actually...
So is it choosing from just the drawings and items that are available in Jamboard, or can you pick something of your own to put in there?
It's picking from all the free stuff on Google.
Okay.
But you can also just add your own. So this is add image, and you can add from your Google Drive.
Oh,
or
perfect.
Upload it from your computer. You can add anything. You can also put several background choices up at the top. You can do dots, ruled paper, and then a graph-ish background.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I expect they're going to add more as people start using it and making requests more.
Shannon, quick question. So when you added the graph image, that was the icon on the left there, second from the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And I did Google image search.
Thanks.
For graph paper. I think I did graph paper or graph.
And Shannon, it's Sue. I'm sorry, I joined a few minutes late.
No, it's okay. Hi.
What you probably said on the front end that I didn't hear. So to get into this, you're just going to go, what is it, Jamboard dot something? And then
jamboard.google.com, but it's also in your Google Apps waffle.
It is in the waffle.
It's in the waffle, and the kids all have it too.
So if, let's say, I put up something like that, I create it, I can present it, obviously, then you have to give them the link. So they just click on their waffle grid and they find that link to get onto the page like we just did.
Well, if they want the waffle, I mean, if they go through the waffle, it means they're creating one completely independently of you.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so how do they get on mine? I have to send them that in the chat.
Well, you would give them the link. If you're live in a Google Meet, you could put it in the chat, or I would recommend that you do it through Classroom, which I'll show a couple slides down.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so math implications. I know there's mathy stuff you can do. Here is just a visual board for a book that the kids read in 8th grade. You know, what are Madras shirts? What are greasers and socias? What does a gas station that Soda Pop worked at look like? Okay, so this is literally, you could just do add image, search for the different words from a book, and kind of make a visual representation. One flaw that I don't like about it is there's no text box. You can only make sticky notes, right? Which it's this, but you can make them transparent for adding text. So once the kids make a sticky note, and then they can drag it to label their pictures. So that's a possibility. How about if you import a Venn diagram right through the images, or upload it from your computer, and then you can have kids collaborate on adding these little, I made my sticky notes invisible, but they would add sticky notes to the Venn diagram. Think of all the different types of diagrams you could insert, all the graphic organizers we use with kids. Why not have students annotate an article here? You put in the article and share it to them, and they would use the paintbrush to do like this highlighting, and then they could add little sticky notes as their annotations. How about a QFT, where the kids ask questions? They see an image or a concept, and then they have to ask whatever questions come to mind. This is the weirdest show we ever started to watch on Netflix. We watched the first episode and we haven't been back yet, but we may.
We watched the whole thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, this is like, how is this real? But then, of course, I saw a movie last night and there were lions in it. And I thought, oh, I wonder if they got their lions from this guy or from that other guy in North Carolina. Like, who thinks about these kinds of things? But yes, you could have each kid post a different Post-it note to brainstorm about an image. It would be a fun activity. I was even thinking, like, for advisory and all the teachers that are meeting with their kids, you can have them do a check-in. Another sort of flaw that I will address later that I'm begging Google to fix is you can't see who puts which Post-it note on. So you would have to make your guidelines clear at the beginning that if it doesn't have a name on it, you'll delete it. Or give them a code that maybe only they know so they can't use other people's names. And have them check in that way. But, have them check in. How you feeling today? What was your favorite snack yesterday? On a scale of 1 to 10, whatever, what's in your sphere. So maybe good for check-ins. Each kid throws a Post-it note. One of the nice things about this is they can all be working simultaneously and adding content, and it's not glitchy the way some other programs are.
So Shannon, if someone types an inappropriate note as the owner of it, how do you delete it?
You just click on it and hit delete.
Okay.
Oh, I found this maze for Poetry Month. You could put a maze and the kids could draw their little line through a maze. Just, fun stuff, curricular stuff, interactive stuff. Here they would make magnetic poetry. Each kid could write a line of a story and kind of have a story going in order. Everyone could post what they're reading. I'm such a librarian. You could do vocabulary drag and drop. You can tell I used to be an English teacher. What are some science kinds of things that you can do? You could put a science image and have the kids label the different parts of it on here. So why don't we just think for a minute about ways that we think maybe we could use this? Can you think of any other possible ways we would do this with kids? And go ahead and make a Post-it note and add it to the board.
One of the problems we're having in math is that it's really difficult to think of a way to have students show you how they are doing for solving a problem. So I've done Google Forms every week since we've been doing the distance learning, but if they get it wrong, I don't know why they get it wrong. So that's been a real struggle to figure out a way. All right, I'd like to see you do a problem. So I'm wondering if this might be a way for them to, I could say, okay, so-and-so, I want you to do this problem out and see if they can do it, type of thing.
That is a great idea. You could include the problem. You could share a copy to each kid so they just have their own that you would see in classroom. And then they would have some choices. They could try to work it out on the screen, or they could even work it out on paper, take a picture, and easily pull the picture in from whatever device they're using via upload.
Oh, that would be great.
And that way you could see their handwritten work right next to the problem.
Right. That would be great. That's really why I'm here, because that's been a really difficult piece for us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Shannon, to load a picture, a student could do that pretty easily from their phone.
Yes.
Okay.
There's an app for this for every device, and it's even easier using the app. So from their phone, from their Chrome, for a Chromebook, they could hold it up and take the photo with the camera, and it saves it right to the Chromebook, and they could drag it right in from the Chromebook. Absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
Yay, that skeleton is great. Where's Trish Hartunian? Maybe a timeline. Maybe this is one way to do a timeline with the kids. We're always looking for like a good way to do timelines. And this is kind of nice. They could just make Post-its for the year, and then they could drag in images or even screenshots of text. So one of the things we talk about in library land a lot is app smashing. And that just means using multiple apps. So the way I used Equatio and then put the math equation into this picture, or the way that we use Awesome Screenshot and teaching kids how to make screenshots with the Chromebook is super easy. So whatever they have on the screen, they could take a screenshot and then they could bring that into here. So definitely this is very simple, but it gets better when you think about how you can add to it or enhance it by using other apps that are freely available and readily available and will still be available after this is all over. And that's one of the things we really like about Jamboard. The district was gracious in turning it on for the kids in the fall. But if you don't, know it's there or what the heck to do with it, it's not being utilized. Great. Yay. So many fun ideas. All right, great job, you guys. All right, so here's one of the best enhancements that Google has made to this since I was teaching it in the fall, is that now you can, in Google Classroom, once you've created your jam, you can insert it via Google Drive. So when you click the add button, let me get my laser pointer, right? When you're in Google Classroom and you're adding, you can now add your jam. And once you've added it, you can choose, you can make a copy for each kid, so they all have their own math problem and it's all in your Google Classroom. You can make it so they can all collaborate on it together at the same time. So you can make it that they would view the file. And then if you're like an advisory, they could all access it live at the same time. And you can also students can edit the file. And if you click the student tab right here, okay, once you've picked students, you can add groups. You can make groups. So maybe you want 4 kids to each jam. And you would go through your students and just click the 4 kids for each one. So you can make groups. I have a video about how to do that that's a little bit more clear attached to my resources that I will share you at the end. But Google Classroom makes this really easy to share with kids. Any questions about that?
Shannon?
Yeah.
Do. It's Trish. When you're making a live board, they can edit it. So it's not, when we're like working in our board right now, what are we? Students can view or students can edit?
Students can edit.
Okay. So it has to be that way to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah, anybody can edit.
Okay.
Which is a great lead into the next slide, right? Potential pitfalls.
Glad I could help.
Yeah, so there are lots of pitfalls with this. I can totally see lots of things going wrong, especially in light of what we've been experiencing a little bit with the kids and just having them all together in a Google Meet. You can't tell who posts what, right? So if you are going to have them all post, it's good to have a protocol or give them some instruction because they will quickly figure it out. Things don't necessarily have, like you can't send things to back or bring things to the front. So occasionally something will disappear, like a Post-it note would go behind the annotation, the article that the kids are annotating. There's no way to make that the background yet, which is also something that I've requested as an enhancement. And you can't insert on a PC, you can't insert from Drive. So if you were on a Chromebook, one of the tools in the lower left is insert from Drive, and you could insert a Google slide, you can insert a PDF file, you can insert all kinds of files from Drive, and then the kids could too. So if you wanted them to, show me your sources, they could literally just insert them right from Drive and have all their sources in one spot. Or, have a bunch of kids share book trailers. They could pull them right in from their Drive. So those are some of the pitfalls. I am sure that you can think of more. Oh, and I will go back to pitfalls. So, but there are lots of benefits, right? So collaboration, we're always looking for ways for kids to collaborate better. And we're always looking for ways for things to be more interactive and hands-on for kids. So some benefits and some pitfalls. Tools that I used in putting this presentation together, I did Equadio for that math, which is free always. I did Awesome Screenshot, which is the snipping tool that I use. If you don't have it, it's free in Chrome, and I would recommend it highly. I can capture parts of the page, the entire page. I can edit. I can do annotation on the screenshot. And then I used Google Slides to create this, for example, where there's a lot of text. So when I did text, because I couldn't fit this in a sticky note. I mean, I probably could fit in a sticky note, and the sticky notes do get bigger. But I made a Google slide, and then I downloaded it as a JPEG, and then I brought it in to Jamboard. All right, I did put together, and I'm going to put this in the chat right now. I have a collection of resources that I used in getting ready for this, and some just helpful things to guide you. Another one of my favorite tools that is free all the time is called Wakelet, and it's sort of like a cross between Pinterest and Padlet, where you can add links to different websites and collect them in one place. It is free, it's nice and clean, and I'm looking at my side computer. I actually have a Wakelet extension. So if I see a web page and I click on my Wakelet extension, I can add it to any of my Wakelet boards. So I mean, I do this with Pinterest. I don't know about you guys, but this is nice. I could just save it right to my Jamboards, and then I can share it out. And you can also, kids can access these and view these without having to sign into anything. So if you wanted to put together a collection of resources for them, and you ran out of Padlets, because Padlet is only giving 3 free Padlets at the time, or in normal time, they only give 3 free Padlets. You could use Wakelet for that. Any questions?
Hi, this is Zheng Jie.
Hi.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
And first, thank you for sharing this tool with us. And I wonder when the student use this Jamboard, and can we know who posts a certain kind of thing in case student write a certain thing? No?
Not at this time.
Oh, so we could not trace. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Shannon, it's Sue. The Jamboard session that you just created that's in Google Slides, this may sound like a dumb question, but can we save that? How do I save that? Can I save that?
It's not in Google Slides. It's in Jamboard.
Oh, it's in Jamboard. Okay, so right. So you put your slides, you created the slides, you put them in Jamboard. So this PD or the slideshow that's within this, how do I save that?
So you can just grab that Jamboard link.
Okay.
Email it to yourself.
Okay.
Right. Or you can, if I present my screen again, let me just hit present screen again. Right. You can, over here, you could download it as a PDF. You could,
okay.
You could make a copy of it if you wanted a copy in your Jamboards, and then it would live in your Jamboards.
Okay. Awesome.
You could just send yourself the link.
Yep.
Yeah, when I open up my Jamboard, this presentation is there right now on my. Wow. Yeah.
So it automatically makes a copy. I did not know that.
Yeah, because I have several from other teachers that have automatically populated my Jamboard.
Ah, interesting. Right, you can share Jamboards, right? So you can share them with other teachers. I don't know why it's with my Project Lit Book Club teachers. That shouldn't be so. And then you can pick your settings too. You can make it so people can't edit it. If you want to teach something with the kids, you could just teach your math and the kids can't edit or do anything, they can just watch you teach it. Oh, that's one thing I meant to include. In the Jamboard resources, I did purchase this. Is a little tablet from Amazon. It was $23.99 and it lets me, let's see, can you see me? Let me stop presenting my screen. I meant to add a slide for this. I apologize. It's a little tablet that you write on with a pen. So for math teachers, this plugs to the Chromebook and then you can do your math teaching with the Jamboard by writing with this little pen. $23.99 and it came in like 4 days. And that's included in the Wakeboard, the Jamboard resource list in the Wakelet.
I ordered one, but I had to wait 2.5 weeks for it. I don't know why. And Melissa was telling me that she got hers quickly too, but mine's supposed to be here today, and I've been waiting over 2 weeks for it. Came from China. So anyway, and it was $35 too. So Amazon, that darn Amazon, it gets me every time.
No, you just never know.
That's right.
You just never know. All right, well, I thank everybody for coming and really appreciate just everybody that's here and hope you are well. And if you have further questions, you know how to reach me.